I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Bakakadash, double honor to my apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to you, Arkham, that's pushing this truth. This is your brother Yakalam from the GMS Boston camp, and out of Walmart Desire, which is Lord willing. This lesson is edifying as well as a faith builder. Physicians of no value. I came across a video to where Dr. Fugazi and another doctor, they were on a panel and they were poking fun at, quote, conspiracy theorists by saying, he had made the C-19 in his kitchen and released it. And really, it is true, with the kitchen being his basically the laboratory that he was overseeing. And the thing that they got now going out is they're trying to get rid of all the information that's against them, and really it's truth. They were going into, I watched a documentary how the word conspiracy basically came out. It was already out, they had said certain stuff during certain kings' reigns, but it became very popular during the JFK assassination because there was a lot of unanswered questions. There was videos that released, and nowadays with so much information coming out, they want to control the narrative. So here you have, it's already been files leaked. Here you had Dr. Fugazi and Ron Paul, the senator, going against each other over, the email showing that he basically was overseeing a laboratory over there in Wuhan, and they were splicing, and they were basically, it's a mutated version of SARS, if I'm saying it correctly. So they was over there, yes, in your kitchen, you was over there experimenting with shit, and they wanted to see the effects on humans. Going to show you that this devil is the harbinger of death. But I want to get a precept in real quick before I continue. This is Job 13:4. But ye are forgers of lies, ye are all physicians of no value. So here this man, he has the label of a doctor, but yet not only do your average doctor push poison upon you, and that's because John D. Rockefeller, when he took over the medical basically industry, they got rid of natural remedies and they wanted to push these pills because the process of, these capsules involved oil. So everything is with money. I used to see a little cartoon, not a cartoon, but a thing in the newspaper. Those little, I'm trying to think of the right words to where it's a photo and it says, something about curing cancer. And it says, basically, if we cure cancer, we have no job. And that's the thing. They would rather have you sick and on a money thing than to actually be healed, because there's no money in healed people. But going back into it, because there's so much blood on this devil's hands. Not This News recently released a video of how, how they were testing, the effects of cigarettes on beagles. They would strap basically these apparatuses around their mouth and they would put cigarettes. But come to find out, once again to those emails, it was Dr. Fugazi that was ahead of that. But they left his name off of it. So going back to it, these devils, they, since they got an agenda and they want to push things, they want to get rid of people that's against that. And ultimately it's going to be, a famine of the word, because it's the word that condemns these devils. So here you have, now you have the monkey business. You have P coming back out. You have different variants of that thing. And it's just like clockwork. There was an article that was released that was basically going into how it affects so-called black males at a more rate. So it's just like clockwork, man. We got something new coming out. We're gonna push that fear. And here you have, people got experienced a little bit of the summertime, and you already got the nigga woman on social media. Got to point that out, talking about if they got a shot for that monkey business, she'll take it, because basically she wants to stay outside, man. So here you have, and I'm going to get into a couple of these precepts, the water for being with me getting all this information out, because, it's just like clockwork. These devils know the winter time's coming, just like last time. People couldn't determine if they had a common cause or they had that thing. That's because they got caught up in that fear. But this devil knows it's going to be a tougher time. And not just that, I forgot to mention, there's so many people that took that thing and they're speaking out against it, that it's one-sided. You know, they got these doctors on YouTube. Every time I'm on YouTube, they're talking about, you know, how there's no effects to it and it's safe, but yet they're not letting the other side speak. And this is why they're pushing to get rid of what they call conspiracy theory, because they don't want people hindering their plan. This is Micah 2:1. Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it because it is in the power of their hands. And here you have, you know, somebody like Bill Gates. Come to find out, he has his hand in everything. You know, things that are coming out of MIT. Guess what? He has a $250 million fun going over there. You know, brothers went into the biomilk. Here you had this devil. He was pushing the Jews, and because they put him on the forefront, the world, you know, when things were getting chaotic overseas, they burned down his store. You know, they want to hide the fact that, wait a minute, you know, you have this man buying up all the farmland, and that's a you know, Akim, including myself, we had done lessons on that. But here you had this devil. He was pushing his jump shot, and he came out with a book called Germ, Global Emergency Response. I believe it's mobilization. And you had the head of the WHO. He tweeted a picture with it saying this is a great read. And then right after that, you had the U.S. basically give over their you know, the U.S. Canada, they gave over their power to the UN as far as a global emergency response. And this is why they called this monkey business a global pandemic. You know? So this devil, he has his hands in that. These devils all conspire against each other. And once again, it's 20 trillion to end homelessness. But they gonna put that money into the jump shot, and ultimately it's because they wanna fulfill the Georgia Guidestones. And even though they may be down, so I lock you, they aren't forgotten. They want to bring population down to 500 million. And this devil Bill Gates, he said himself, you know, when he was speaking to an auditorium, he was going into different equations, and one of them being P for people. And what did he say? He said if we bring P down through these jump shots, you know, because they push that the earth is overpopulated, but you know, that's contrary and to go against the Lord. Here the Lord said, be fruitful and multiply, but yet the Lord wouldn't set this place up to sustain that. This is why he created everything before he created man, to make sure that there was land and substance to fulfill that. But this is how these devils get down. You know, the power, as Job 9:24 says, the earth was given into the hands of the wicked. They have the power, and look what they do with it. Look what they do with it. This is Psalm 64:8. So they make their own tongue to fall upon themselves. All that see them shall flee. Wait, how many times did Dr. Fugazi cut himself? Or you hear them speaking on certain stuff. And in this case, what, you know, what got me through the spirit to hop on this lesson was this devil poking fun as saying, you know, he created it in his kitchen and he released it because he knows that he's tied to it. And you can laugh at, you know, us all day. Ultimately, it's Jake, you know, you so-called Negroes, Latins, and Native Americans, and even those that are scattered amongst the other nations that may look like them, that need to wake up, man. That need to wake up. These devils are laughing in your face, and they know through that laughing that they're gonna put that doubt on people that's trying to tell you the truth. You can go on Salaki Hakim, the other website that we post on, just slipped my mind. So I like it. It's the other platform that we use to where you got people, you know, you had the doctor that showed how they're building up, how the people's body is basically through the nanos, and the metals that are in these jabs, how they're it looks like these worms and stuff, but it's blockading around people's arteries and stuff. This is why a lot of people are dropping from the jump shot, and they don't want to tell you that. You know, you got these athletes, young too, falling. You got these people that are just falling straight out, but they don't want to. Come on, the requirement to play sports is you had to get the juicy juice. So if all of a sudden people are falling out that were once healthy at top levels, especially these soccer players, it's something that they gave them, but people don't want to put two and two together. So these devils have told on themselves, especially Dr. Fugazi and Bill Gates, plenty of times in the speeches and things that they say. And this is Daniel 8:23. It says, in the later time of their kingdom, when the transgressors are come to the full, a king of fierce countenance and understanding dark sayings shall stand up, and his power shall be mighty, but not by his own power, because I mentioned, Job 9:24, the earth was given into the hands of the wicked. So right now, you know, Esau, the so-called white man, under Amalek, they have control of this earth right now, but it's about to be taken from them. And it says right here, and he shall destroy wonderfully, and shall prosper and practice, and shall destroy the mighty and the holy people. And who's that holy people? You so-called Negroes, Latins, and Native Americans, man. Why do you think every time something happens, just like clockwork, it's affecting the minority communities? Once again, their tongue shall fall upon themselves. You had Bill Gates and his wife say that, oh, they need to reach out to the brown and black people, when they don't got them all up in these hospitals due to the diets and the shit that they feed them already. Talking about they don't get the proper medical care. I was driving through the hood earlier to get to my job, and there's not just one medical center. There's another one put up in there. And it says, and through his policy, also he shall cause craft to prosper in his hand. And what's that policy? As Isaiah 10:1 tells you, those unrighteous decrees that they write. These are laws. You have Massachusetts versus Jacobson in 1901, to where if they enforce, if it's a national pandemic, they can push that on you. And this was, I believe, during the measles. Matter of fact, I'm gonna get that. So I'll lock y'all, Kim. Massachusetts versus. Yep. Okay. So Jacobson is basically the court held that the law was legitimate exercise of the state's police power to protect the public health and safety of its citizens. Notice this is why these devils were enforcing things, and it's gonna get worse, especially with the United Nations, and it's a global thing. These devils are really, as the scripture says in the book of Revelation, Salakia 12:12, they are going to come down with great wrath. It says local boards of health determine when mandatory vaccines were needed, thus making the requirement neither unreasonable nor arbitrarily imposed, showing you that you ain't gonna be, they're gonna get rid of religious freedoms. We had one or two how they're gonna look at you as holding them back, and we saw that. We saw, but before they swept us under the rug to focus on, what's going on in Ukraine, you had people really fighting. You had really people looking at these quote unquote, I say it like that, religious people, like, oh, you guys are holding back society. Y'all don't want to take that jump shot. What more when they impose, which they've been speaking about, the MOTB? That's gonna have your medical information. That's gonna have digital payment on it, because they already put that vibration out there that cash is a carrier. They even show you that in video games like The Division. So do them unrighteous decrees that this devil has put. Oh, you can't get a job, or you can't hold your job, or even with your school and with children. If you take your children out of school, they'll send the government to your crib. So it's just a matter of time. And it says, and by peace shall destroy many. Once again, the book of Ecclesiastes and Ecclesiasticus 12 tells you, and I'm gonna get into that. Also his words were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. This devil created something in a lab, and really he put something in the quote unquote cure, and he's telling you, listen, man, we want to help you out, but you got that saying, the government never gives you anything for free. That should tell you something. And it says, and by peace shall destroy many. So many are gonna be destroyed and deceived by this devil, being deceptive. And he shall also stand up against the prince of princes, but he shall be broken without hand. And this is why we're waiting for Yahweh Bashim, Yahweh Shai to return, because he's going to get rid of this devil. He's going to take this devil out of power. And this is Proverbs 6:12. And it says, a naughty person, a wicked man, walketh with a froward mouth. He winketh with his eyes. He speaketh with his feet. He teacheth with his fingers. And when you look at how these devils talk, and I'm going to keep it on these devils, when you watch Dr. Fugazi and how he moves when he's speaking on these panels, they use all these big words and in these titles, and the scripture says the wisdom of this world is foolishness. Foolishness with the Most High, because they don't know anything. You know, their top scholars really doesn't understand the depth of the scriptures, because that's what society is based on. This is what this nation is based on our Christian doctrine, Christian principles. And it says right here, frowardness is in his heart. He deviseth mischief continually, always seeking how to get Jake. He soweth discord. Therefore shall his calamity come suddenly. Suddenly shall he be broken without remedy. And what does it tell you in the book of Job? Oh, when his devil is about to fill his belly, his NWO. And it says, therefore, Sirach verse 16, these 6 things doeth the Lord hate. These 7 are abomination unto him. A proud look, a lying tongue, and hands that shed innocent blood. And this is these devils. Dr. Fugazi fits this. Dr. Kill Gates fits this. You know, the fucking president of P. And I just mentioned how here you had these devils. They went into, I forgot what country, and they basically said, you know, if we can't hire our own medical experts to look into that, we don't want it. And these devils, they backed right out over 1 point something billion dollars worth of sales. That should tell you something, man. You know, they even released the damn files, and people just looked at it as conspiracy. People paid no mind to it. They didn't even want to look into it. That should tell you something. Once again, it says, in a heart that deviseth wicked imaginations, feet that be swift and run into mischief. And this is what these devils do. They can't wait to get Jake. And this is Ecclesiasticus 12, because I mentioned it. Bear with me, Arkham. Ecclesiasticus 12 and 10. Never trust thine enemy. Never meaning that at any point in time. Their tongue already fell upon themselves. How many times did they apologize about the Tuskegee experiments? Or basically what they did to Gad with the blankets. That was a form of chemical warfare. That was a fair warfare. If they could have gave them shots, if they could have gave Gad, Reuben, and even Issachar some shots back then to you know, because pulling out the sword would have hint, you know, basically show a devil's true intention. But how did they get them? They slow cooked our brethren. Had them blankets wrapped in dead bodies, and then what did they do? Gave them a slow death. Stuff like polio and other stuff. And looking nowadays, if they would have had them same needles and jump shots, they would have did the same thing, telling them that they were coming to cure them and this would make them better. It's the same thing. These devils already had told on themselves so many things. You know, I also watched the video of the brother, I believe it's GMS Get This Work, or GMS Watchman, posted how during 1993 how they were testing under Bill Clinton, how they were doing tests on Jake, and he actually apologized about it. So never trust thine enemy, for like his iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. Though he humble himself, and we mentioned P because they're the biggest ones that push that jump shot as far as the one to get. How many lawsuits do they got against them? How many things do they got against them? Not to be trusted. And it says right here, though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him. And didn't I just read, you know, didn't I just read in, damn, I'm trying to think which one. So Akim going through the thing. Didn't I just read in the book of, alright, I'll get back to it. I don't want to lose my train of thought. Akim. It says, though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him, and thou shalt be unto him as if thou hast wiped a looking glass, and thou shalt know that his rust had not been altogether wiped away. Set him not by thee, least when he have, it says, set him not by thee, least when he have overthrown thee, he shall stand up in our place. Stand up in thy places. And this is the thing with Jake. They already got this devil above him. They already voting for these devils. They always reaching out for these devils. They always taking these, whatever these devils say, for face value. Especially, you know, all the kingdoms, but you know, I say Northern Kingdom because that's where my family's from. You know, the tribe of Ephraim. And as I perceive, you know, my family, you know, they all took the, just like other brothers, they took the jump, they took the booster. You know, now my grandfather's deteriorating, he's about to pass, but You know, I remember my aunt, she spoke on something, and she's like, why don't they leave that poor old man talking about Dr. Fugazi alone? He's just trying to help people. And that's not the case. That is not the case. So here you have Jake, they already put these devils above them, and it says, and thou at the last remember my words and be pricked therewith. Who will pity a charmer that is bitten with a serpent? Why should we feel bad? Why should anybody feel bad when there's so much information out there? Jake will look into celebs and all their business and all their personal business and all these other low level, like, as they say, woke things, the Illuminati, but they won't look into what they about to put in their body. Just like the ignorance of that nigga woman that was like, I don't care what's in it. Put it in my arm, where you got dudes saying, oh, y'all ate from this sub shop or this food spot, but y'all don't want to take the thing. Like, come on, man. Who shall pity a charmer that is bitten with a serpent, and any such as come nigh a wild beast? So one that goeth to a sinner is defiled with him in his sins. Who will pity? For a while he will abide with thee, but if thou begin to fall, he will not tarry. An enemy speaketh sweetly with his lips, but in his heart he imagineth how to throw thee into a pit. Going into what? Through his, matter of fact, it was Daniel that I had read in verse 25 when he said, and by peace he shall destroy many, showing you how this devil is going to come. Showing you. So through this show, listen, man, we want to help you. A lot of people are going to be destroyed, and it's going to be worse. It ain't going to be a lot of leeways with their religious exemptions and stuff. I have brought out Massachusetts versus Jacobson, in 1901. And not just that, the power was given over to the United Nations. So, here you had all these United Nations trucks in Ohio and all over because it's planned out. And it says right here, it says, an enemy speaketh with his lips, sweetly with his lips, but in his heart he imagineth how to throw thee into a pit. He will weep with his eyes, but if he find opportunity, he will not be satisfied with blood. If adversity come upon thee, thou shalt find him there first. And though he pretend to help thee, yet shall he undermine thee. The Lord said never, at any moment, not today, shit, definitely not yesterday in the past. So why today and why tomorrow? Why? It says, an enemy speaketh sweetly with his lips, but in his heart he imagines how to throw thee into a pit. He will weep with his eyes, but if he find opportunity, he will not be satisfied with blood. How many times are these devils crying? If adversity come upon thee, thou shalt find him there first. And though he pretend to help thee, and yet shall he undermine thee, he will shake his head and clap his hands and whisper much and change his countenance. This is these devils to a T, man. And this is Psalms 55 and 20. I just got a couple of more precepts, Akim. It says, he hath put forth his hands against such, and be at peace with him. He hath broken his covenant. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. War is always in this devil's heart. Those that are from those so-called white people that go back to, Esau, Edom, they hate you, Jacob. You so-called Negroes, Latins, and Native Americans, they hate y'all. It's a spiritual thing. And those that are in power with these Amaleks, that went and they took on took on our identity, just showing you that they know who we are. They want y'all dead because they know that we have a promise, that the Lord is going to give us a promise, and out of our mouth that we're part of that number. Because not all of y'all shall rather, the Lord is going to let these devils get 2/3 of our people, whether it's by the sword or whether it's by the famine. Because whatever E got going on, it's the power of Yahweh Bashim Shai. As the book of Daniel says, the Lord ruleth in the kingdom of men. So Dr. Fugazi overseeing these things, guess what? The Lord put the spirit on him to do so, to create these things. It's also part of his judgment. When you look at the monkey business, who they say it's affecting? The Batiman and the Bati woman. And they're already pushing that thing that they can't even get the juicy juice. So what more regular people? And that's going to cause our vision too. Like, look, you want to live this lifestyle, and look what it's causing, man. The Lord is smooth, man. The Lord is smooth. Once again, going back to Psalms 55, it says, but war was in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords. It says, cast thy burden upon the Lord, and he shall sustain thee. He shall never suffer thee, the righteous, to be moved. But thou, O power, shall bring them down into the pit of destruction. Bloody and deceitful men shall not live out half their days, but I will trust in thee. So these devils, man, their time is almost up. They're already destroyed. Babylon's already destroyed. Their NWO already failed. We're just waiting for it to play out. Scripture declared what? The end from the beginning. The Lord let us know. And I'm going to end this with Psalms 141:9. Keep me from the snares which they have laid for me, and the gins of the workers of iniquity. Let the wicked fall into their own nets, whilst I will escape. So all these little things they have to get at us, you know, may the Lord always keep us ahead. Because when you read 2 Ezra 16, just to bring that, and it talks about, you know, that great insurrection, it's coming, man. It's coming. We are going to go through some things. You know, these devils about to get ready to push our next phase, and it ain't going to be as easy as everyone thought, especially with the famine that's coming, and they sitting here lying to people, telling them that, you know, changing the definition of a recession, telling them everything's going to be all right. Scripture talks about that, in that peace and safety, sudden destruction shall come, you know? So keep trusting in these devils, man. I hope this lesson was edifying, and till next time, Yasharala, Shalom.